or a BB gun. This is a cool new gun.
The Winchester? The Winnie? Yeah,
Yeah.
the Winnie is fantastic. The only problem is it fires a regular 45 out of it because I don't have 45-70 in the game. That'd be super scary.
The other problem is that this is the town hall, and we're ready to go.
Wow.
Alright, let's start talking about wrestling.
Wow.
We are.
Why you pull me into this? It was definitely him and Nebula talking about past discretions.
Before the stream started, the stream is live. Hello. Hi.
It's because it was past 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
We understand.
Oh,
Welcome
hello
to town
all.
hall.
April 2K18.
Okay.
So, April Town Hall 2018. Should be a good time. We're not going to do introductions. You probably know everyone here. But we do have things to go over. We have about an hour. I just lost in PUBG because I'm trying to do this and read questions. I'm not going to play any games. KSI's leadership. So, we'll just go through a series of questions you guys have all asked. We've chose, I don't know, probably like 60% of the questions, so if yours wasn't asked, it's not a big deal. We just only have about an hour, so we'll just dive right in. What are the positives and negatives associated with splitting a squad? Looking for like 1 to 2 answers from whomever would like to answer.
Well, it allows the community as a whole to grow.
Yeah, that is a negative as well as a positive. It's double whammy.
What can happen whenever you split as a negative is sometimes you can split the leadership out and really kind of make the leadership, it really, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but it really, when you split the leadership apart, a team that worked really well together, now they're apart, now they have to find a new way of working together. And it's not that much of a negative, really.
Yeah, but sometimes definitely new crews don't flow together as well. And then positives, yeah, like I said, expanding and building the community, allowing more people to have more areas to grow, giving people a sense of ownership and pride in starting their own squad, allowing people to split squads and like enable more co-founder positions, which kind of opens up all the ranks above gradually. It's definitely a lot of pluses. And below, absolutely, all over. And then yeah, negatives would be when you get that squad from 40 to 100 in like a month, and then split it, and then do the same thing next month, and all of a sudden you have like 3 people who've been here for more than 2 or 3 months, and a lot of anarchy. With all the other communities popping up within gaming, what are some of the ways KSI is trying to prove it is a positive place for gamers to come and find a place to hang out and make friends? Sorry, kind of divided. I don't know, Impy, you want to answer that? What makes KSI different than other communities?
Well, I think we have a more developed structure. I think we have we just have so many active people and so many active things to get involved with, and so many things to really set us apart. It makes people feel more comfortable. Hopefully gives you places to reach out. Of course, that doesn't, some people obviously fall through the cracks here and there, and we'd prefer for that not to happen. But I think in general, just across the board, I don't think you're going to find a place that balances the goals of a community as far as growth and retention and membership like we have. And that's something we've really been working hard on over the last several years. I think we're getting better with each passing month with that.
I agree. Sorry. I have Cape Cod chips. Yeah, that's always what put us apart from everyone else. Yeah, if anything, may not be the biggest, may not be the smallest, may have like tons of issues all around, small ones, big ones, some as big as your head. But at the end of the day, we're definitely like the most well-oiled machine out there. I do believe, and that's also a little biased, but oh, Regs, this is one for you if you're here. Is it possible to make it to where we can feature certain awards in our profiles?
No, shut
Right.
up.
Oh. Alright, so it's definitely not in our current award system, which is a little outdated. But it's possible we can expand in the future and find a different one. I don't know if that's a feature on
Any
any of them, though.
updated versions, you can pick what awards show on your profile, because again, some sites have hundreds, and obviously want to show all that in the profile, so you can pick which award to show. We'll talk about that after we move over servers.
Yeah, we have a lot to do with the website, updating it, upgrading it, moving it in the next few months, but that's definitely something we want to look into. Oh, I also noticed that I can't look at all my awards on the forum page because page 2 gives an error. Yeah, it gives an error. It's the same thing. The forums need a lot of work to do. We're aware of it, and it's currently in progress. So we're going to move servers before we can upgrade it, and there's a lot to go into it. But yeah, you can only look at your complete list of awards under your profile on a post. So post something, and you can do that. Gambit, can we do more Black Ops 2 tournaments?
Yeah, I definitely don't see why not. Usually, I know we get huge turnouts for Call of Duty more often than we do any other game, but there are some members that don't have that game anymore, or want to play something else. So we do try to rotate the schedule, but absolutely, I think we can get some more Black Ops 2 in there. I personally love Black Ops 2, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, it definitely always is a big hit, and the only reason we're probably not going to include it in at least Spear Week, maybe some of the other larger events, but definitely not Spear Week. It's only because the server tends to always not work out great when we're trying to do a big event. So we're trying to stay clear of the 360 games with the progressively getting worse servers. But yeah, Black Ops 2 is always a good game to play. It's always a big hit. I'll just answer this one because it's whatever one. It's asked if our current KSI dealerships looking to expand to include a PC sector again. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? No, we're not looking to do it. We have tried in the past several times. However, it's tough because we are an Xbox gaming community. And the last time, there was a division of about 200 people, and they kind of got upset because none of us really played with them. But that's because we're an Xbox community, not a PC community. There's definitely people who play with them, but there's no way to really integrate them into like our events. A lot of what we do, unless it's forums based strictly, or unless they just get on the Xbox. So it's a good idea in theory if we had a big enough section to start. But it's one of those things. The first division or two that would be built on that people would not be too happy because of the exclusion. And then by the time there was several divisions, then it's not exclusionary and it's not as bad. But it's just hard to get to that point prior to getting people upset and then just them doing their own thing.
Hey, real fast.
Yes.
Before we move on to the next one, since we got 30 people viewing, and it'd be
people.
awesome to see that number growing as we go. While we have you here, if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to KSI Live if you can. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get a Twitch sub each month for free. If you're a student and you use your .edu email, you get 6 months free of Amazon Prime. That would also give you 6 months of a Twitch Prime sub, which also can contribute to the community, get you the iHeart KSI Live group, get you the Sub Club Award on the forums, get you entered in for donor perks and privileges. And also, right now, I think it's still going on, there is a deal on bits. If you have not bought bits in a long time or have never bought bits before, I believe the discount is still going on, where you can get like 500 bits for like 99 cents. And so that's like $4 free. That's like you pay $1 for like $5 worth of bits. So, yeah. Just a thought. Just putting it out there, throwing it out into the universe. And for those of you who do sub, we love you. Dropshot has subscribed for 3 straight months. Thank you to Dropshot. And thanks to Gary for contributing all the bits that he has contributed this evening.
Hello.
Yeah, I don't know where that 99 cents buys 500. I would do that, but I don't see it.
It might
Top
not.
7.
It might not be on there. It might not be there anymore. To be honest, this is like 2-week-old information. They might have already ended that deal. But if not, just pay $7. It's okay. It's
Alright.
okay.
No.
$1 maybe, $7 not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I'll see if it's still going on. It might not be.
Alright, Greg, this will go to you. And this answer...
Right. I was changing my
obvious-
shirt tonight. You were going to ask me a question. I'm changing my shirt.
I have not asked it yet. I can send it to someone else.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
So the obvious answer is Halo 2, just net number wise, but that's KSI Halo 2 days compared to nowadays is like apples and oranges. So of like the current generation, like maybe let's say Xbox One, hell, we'll even go 360. What do you think is the most successful game that helped KSI grow, in your opinion? Not counting Halo 2 or 3.
Modern Warfare 2. Maybe even Modern Warfare 1, the first one. I think right then is when Call of Duty really kind of took off on KSI, and it went from having 4 or 5 divisions on just solely on Halo to having. I mean, it flipped most of KSI onto a mostly Call of Duty game. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely Black Ops 1. And it
I would say
carried that
Modern
on.
Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 definitely transitioned KSI to more COD than anything else. Modern Warfare... or
Modern
Black
Warfare
Ops-
3
I mean,
was the big one, too. One of those
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, it was definitely 2,
When
3, and
COD
Black
4
Ops
came
1.
out,
Because COD
we
4,
had
it
a
started to
few-
move. But
Yeah, we had
only a
like
few
we do
squads.
like dual divisions. It'd be like Halo 3 mostly, and then some COD 4. I don't think we had.
Well, we only had
divisions that
Halo
were
prior
just-
to that,
We might,
so-
Actually, we might have had just one division that was like just COD. Was SR then? Was it just COD 4? We had like one division that was just
Yeah.
COD 4. And then by
That,
the
there
time
was-
Black Ops 1 and then MW2 came out, that's when one more division started becoming more Halo or more COD focused, and then some people were doing Reach, but I mean, Reach was still a thing, but it was transitioning.
Yeah, Reach it was the last big Halo game, but the game was out 2-3 years before 4 came out.
Yeah.
And COD's get you every year. So yeah, that was definitely made a huge difference. Alright, so... let's put this to like text trendies and Rita. You could change your division, or
I see
if you
how
could
it
change your
is.
if you could change your gamer tag to anything else that's still KSI, what would it be? And we can go alphabetically if you'd like.
Anything else but texting?
Text Angel
Bite me
77.
7?
Did you say bite me or fight me?
Bite me. Gambits would be fight me since, he wants to fight everybody for calling him Nugget.
Why did you? No, we don't talk about that on the stream. Please
Damn
play.
it, I could include that in my story. I'm super bummed.
What an excellent.
Trendies, what about you?
That's a good
So-
question. Never actually thought about that. 'Cause mine's always been like something like this. Maybe Tiamat, KSI Tiamat, maybe. I don't know. 'Cause I've been playing it all in Neverwinter, so something just popped in my head.
No, Veritas? I also can't say spider. That's cheating.
I would. Is my name backwards cheating? KSI Saturov 7?
No, I think Saturday would be great.
I'd go with Saturov. It's badass.
Alright.
Just for
Let's
us.
go to like, I don't know. Whomever. Like, Ronan and Gary. You guys get your opinion. So someone had an opinion. Well, actually, I guess anyone could really jump into this, but I think saving that line of conversation. So, there's a question here. One more of a topic brought up that saying that 3 to 4 solid officers can manage a squad of 100 people. And there's the second part talking about how us pushing for a 1 to 10 officer ratio can definitely hurt the division instead of help the division. So I want to get like you guys' opinion on it. How many
So they're
squad
saying
how
the
many officers?
ratio is hurting you?
They're saying having a 10 to 1 officer ratio, pushing for that, and especially for like squad splits or like that, is hurting the squads.
I don't know how it would be hurting the squad because, I mean, more people, more officers. It makes the work and the delegation of all those things and those activities go against and go out with everybody to help and to do things, not just put on one person to be stressed out and freaking out of all the crud that they have to do.
Yeah. And again, like the 10 to 1 ratio has been, it's been something. I mean, I actually pushed a smaller ratio because really, like, your scope of like ability to lead people is like 5 to 7. 7 being max, you're a phenomenal leader. But the 10 to 1 thing we kind of compromised on because that was something manageable within divisions. But really, exceeding that 15 or 20 to 1, like that's. You're not leading those people. You don't know those people. There's no way. And I don't expect anyone to be able to know 20 different people and constantly rotating 20 people. We push these numbers because it's more delegation of work, and a 10-to-1 ratio actually gives you the feasibility to have at least an officer be able to interact with every member in the squad. Obviously, there's overlap, but
the thing is, you've also got to account for the fact that everyone has a different leadership style. And, you know, you might have one squad that's got a real strong officer corps, but then you might have another squad that has a pretty weak officer corps, and, you know, that squad's going to fail.
Well,
don't say if you only have 3 or 4 solid officers. If you only have 3 or 4 solid officers, and you're at 100 members, and then you split, now you only have 2 solid officers with absolutely no delegation. I understand you can have 3 or 4 solid officers and split a division, squad, but also have like some mediocre officers that could be done. Not everyone has to be outstanding A+ future senior directors of the community, but just to have 3 captains and a general managing literally everything, that you kind of burn people out.
Well,
Staff sergeants literally supposed to play with privates and corporates. Like, there's no reason they can't not use them.
Well, that's the whole point with the staff sergeants now. When we put the 10 to 1 ratio in, that's when we started counting staff sergeants toward officer ranks too. So we're not saying just lieutenants and captains. If your squad is growing and you are training and members are moving up and they hit that staff sergeant rank, those staff sergeants count too. So you have all 4 staff sergeants filled, all 4 lieutenants filled, and all 4 captains filled, and a general. That'll give you what, 13? That'd give you 13 officers total if you were maxed out, and your squad probably wouldn't get any bigger than like 100, and so you're obviously far better than a 10 to 1 there. So, I mean, since you're counting staff sergeants too, the 10 to 1 ratio would be a lot harder to hit if you only were counting lieutenants, captains, and generals. But as long as you're training up your members and they're moving through the ranking structure and they're hitting that staff sergeant rank and you're filtering people through, people are rotating, moving up, it's not just stagnant, where on February 1st, you have this many officers, and then on April 1st, 2 months later, you're still with that same exact officer number. Those numbers should be fine. Those numbers should be able to rotate and grow. And so, I mean, since we offered more opportunities and more spots for officers, it gave you a greater number of officers to play toward that ratio. And when we implemented that across the community, we were around a 15 to 1, and things were struggling as far as member retention. Currently KSI wide, we're about 11 to 1. I mean, that's a pretty vast improvement. I mean, it's kind of plateaued, but I think that those greater number of officers, like Fuzzy said, staff sergeants being basically tasked with playing with people, it's led to better retention, led to better communication, and led to more people being involved. Instead of having, like, yeah, those 2 superstar officers having to do everything, hold everything together, and they never really can. The people are going to fall through the cracks so much more there. So, I think it all plays in.
Yeah, on top of burnout, 3 to 4 officers, exactly 2 months later, if there's no more people in that division aspiring to be leaders, then there's a much bigger issue.
Burnout and anger.
Yeah.
mean, I think if you're gonna argue like grading for officers for 100, you kind of just to that point like cut the squad number in half. You're kind of like dictating like a small group of people like dictate another small group of people's like prerogatives, and so I don't feel like the 100 would be like the squad split if you were to like follow that thought pattern, I guess. You just have like a captain and a lieutenant and like a general over like a squad of like max 35-ish people. I don't really know. I don't really know if that format can sustain a lot of things. Cause you can't have things of like hybrid squads. Your squad diversity kind of like I don't know. It doesn't like die, but you're like catering squads for one certain goal. I don't know. It's really weird.
Right, and the 10-to-1 is meant to, it's meant to have a little bit of room in there, so that if you fall below that, or I should say, I guess above that 10-to-1 ratio, where you have more people per officer than the 10-to-1, you're not gonna be getting killed. It's obviously not ideal, and it should always be corrected. But you're not gonna ever be put in a position. Whereas, you lose one officer and then the whole thing falls apart. Well, when you start looking at, 2, 3, 4 officers who are just really good and really on their stuff, it's just turnover rate with officers is pretty high. It's not like, sevens or like really upper leadership with people who've kind of like been through the trials. Officers come and go, sadly. So the 10-to-1 is also there to make sure that there's a little bit of stretch room in case an officer dips out. It gives you plenty enough time to train someone up who's going to be a good addition, and gives you more legroom that way, to where you're not worrying and biting your nails every time someone's telling you they're going to leave.
Yeah, they're healthy goals.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no punishment currently for anything worse. Like these are guidelines at the moment. These are things you should strive to be. A good division, a good squad would hit these guidelines at some point. But yeah, I mean, we have not yet come down on any division that has a worse ratio and punished anything.
No.
It's not a punishable offense. It's just it's purely a goal. It's a guideline to hit.
Just a goal. You want to save 50% of your paycheck each week. But emergency happens, you gotta dip into that. Your goal is still 50%. Whatever. So I have the next question. I feel like that was well covered.
Yep. Yeah,
do we still need a minimum of 20 friends on a friends list prior to recruiting? I guess I can go to para. Seems like a security thing. Or any of the directors, or whatever. Whoever. But... Are you dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been trying for like 45 minutes to copy and paste this link to a news article, and I want to kill myself. It won't copy and paste, and I don't know what to do. I'm having a midlife crisis, alright? I can't just hand someone a newspaper anymore.
Anyways, 20, minimum of 20 friends in a friends list. I don't know. It's probably important.
Don't add.
I know that was like.
I don't add anyone.
It was like so when like EO was like converted to the 1, like the old plausibility that people were active solely. It was like around Christmas time, and people were just adding people just to kind of like meet the requirements, and because there's like no cross following required anymore, they could just like go in a club and just like spam friend requests, and boom, they all of a sudden meet the requirement. So like the shift kind of changed like as far as recruiting focus to like higher gamer scores as opposed to like weird amount of people on friends list, or like 8 people, then they all of a sudden miraculously get to 21 over like the course of the next day. So it was like a heavy debate topic for a while, but I eventually just kind of like shut it down. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I mean, it should be like.
What's up?
I don't know. It should be suspicious to be somebody with like. It's weird if someone cleans out their friends list entirely, but they have 20,000 gamer score. But I don't know. I'm not a good person to answer because I don't care. She use common sense. You see like 2 people on a list, maybe it's a little strange. But if you stop looking for 20, then you see 2 people on a list, and you no longer make it a point to any of your people to look out for it, as you just like a red flag. Let's think about this guy a little bit. Then it removes that cautionary tale of the people who hit our communities.
Right. And this is something me and Fuzzy talked about a little earlier. The 20 is still what we look at. That's still that, along with the 500. Obviously, there's wiggle room, but you know, the main thing is that we're not telling people, hey, you know, you need to get 20 of your friends in order to join. You know, if someone doesn't meet the requirements for the community, you know, the best thing to do really is just tell them that they don't meet the requirements. You don't have to be specific. They're probably going to be inquisitive about it, but you know, truth be told, if you tell someone how to do something, how to get past the system, they're going to. So I think that's probably where a lot of that came from.
That's a problem. Stuff like if you don't have any friends, something like that makes sense. You're going to tell someone to bypass it, but I'm going to be honest, if I was going to recruit somebody and they had 15 friends, and I thought this guy was cool, and I'm getting weird vibes off
you recruit him.
I'd just tell them to add some people in KSI, because that's who they're going to play with. But it's also something that now you're aware of, because that's something you look for. If it's not something you look for, you're not going to be aware of it. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's easy to add 20 people nowadays, and therefore it's easy to add 20 people. So meet someone you want in the community, they can add 20 people. But if you meet like someone like messages you out of the blue, asks to join, has 10,000 gamer score and 6 friends, then maybe you should be like a little aware of that. How do you keep
When in
recruits?
doubt.
Oh, go ahead.
When in doubt,
Yeah, you
just
can
send
usually
it to the
check
forums.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always the join area. What it's there for.
When people just send you random messages or ask to play, just do all that.
Yeah, I
Do
never.
dang names.
Yeah.
Yeah, just check them.
Yeah,
You can usually
definitely.
check and see if people have like recently played with you on most games, or just check your recent players. And if they're not on there, obviously they're either you know, answer.
Is everyone dead? Is that what we're
Is this an
doing?
intermission?
Oh,
or-
this guy's super quiet.
I think
Awkward
so.
silence.
Fuzzy,
Oh, Lord.
where are you? Do the thing.
Fuzzy's dead. I am the captain now.
There goes the neighborhood.
And now to John with the weather.
Let's
It's
take a
gonna
look at
rain.
the comments.
Let me see where we are.
My bad. I've only gone for
Oh.
a minute. You guys are in the middle of talking. Jeez, my dog's
No.
going crazy.
No,
Fine.
everyone stopped. It was quiet for a while.
Well, you
It's
should have
awkward.
continued it.
I
How
thought
do
we
you-
were lagging.
How do you keep your recruits involved in KSI? What's the most efficient way to keep them involved and interested?
Play with them.
Gambit,
Yeah.
you want to answer
Play
that?
with them, play games.
Sorry.
Or trendies?
For everybody.
Just for me.
Well, I try to ask one person, so like it doesn't take 6 minutes per question when we have 9,000 questions. But trendies, you took the lead. You weren't beta.
Oh.
Go for it.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Well, I'll just go
Play with
my
them.
bed. That's fine.
Invite them to events. You know what I mean? Get them involved with everything from day one. Invite them to that game night that's going on that night. Play video games. That's why they want to be here. I think that's why everybody, well, most people are here anyways.
Yeah. Gambit, anything
Yep.
to add on?
I'm just here for friends that bully me a lot. No, but really, I mean, Trinity's pretty much hit it on the head. I think, the best way to get recruits and stuff like that to stay around is really just do your best to make sure they're included in everything. We have a lot of things to offer for KSI, or quote unquote what we're selling. Specifically like the Discord thing that we use a lot. That's a great way to get people to stay. They see you guys talking and they're having a good time and everybody's active. They can keep in touch even when they're not on their Xbox. So I think it's really just, making them feel at home is what really gets people to stay and want to become officers and stuff like that. Show them why you stayed. Usually the reasons why you stay and what you like to do and could be interesting to them. So, or just, talk to them and find out their passions. Maybe they're a graphic design student, so you could show them to the graphics section. Maybe, they're super competitive, so you can get them in Weekend Warfare. So just talk to them. They're people, you're people. So figure it out, see what they like to do, and kind of see what KSI has to offer them.
Yeah. All right, Game. This is actually another one for strictly headhunters. Someone's requesting Halo headhunters.
I
Or
think
if you've
that
ever
would be.
considered it.
Yeah, it's absolutely been considered. I think this headhunter season went really well, and we're actually already brainstorming, what games we want for the next headhunter season. There's been speculation on both Halo and Destiny, some other games as well, like R6, maybe even Overwatch one day. Praise the Lord. But yeah, we have definitely considered Halo. Halo will definitely be coming soon. I can't really give you a promise of order in which it will come. But yeah, I think Halo is absolutely a viable option. I mean, this community was pretty much founded off of Halo. So getting back to the roots.
Halo
yeah,
for life.
I mean, shout out to Halo 4.
The roots are unreal. Shut up.
We made it work. Hold on, Rex, can you not attack me on stream, please? Thank you. God, I'm
Don't
just
say
gonna crawl back under my
stupid
bed now.
things.
I miss you, Rex.
Betas unite.
Are there any plans to make ads for platforms like YouTube that we get the word out about KSI Global? No. Are there any plans for future departments?
Yes, bringing back old ones. Do you count IA as a future department?
No.
Past,
Okay,
present,
then no.
future. I'd hate for
We're never.
advertising.
What about one to prevent cyberbullying?
Oh, HR?
Kind of suicide prevention.
You've already got one.
I don't think that's gonna stop me, but I'm pretty risky.
Yeah, that's not gonna stop me.
Just hit up Havoc and tell him you want to talk. There you go, Gambit. It's all good.
Well,
Yeah,
just to say,
Correct.
I think right now, with the current portfolio of departments that we have, I think really covers a good deal. I think what you might see in the next year or so, maybe like department splits, maybe. Depending on like the directory of like news and history may split off and be individual again instead of together. Productions may split into streaming and shows. You might see divisions like that. As far as brand new departments out of thin air, I think right now really the focus seems to be really focusing on what we have. I don't know, real fast for a minute, because this is a nice pitch, I guess. One of the big things we've done, especially with like Div Cup, is like trying to get KSI structured where it needs to be. And about a year or two ago, I forget, time flies, we tried to put a department cap in to try to like spread the wealth to get as many people involved in the departments as we can. The good news about the proliferation of like how fast these departments have grown over that period has been like wonderful for like helping Div Cup happen and like helping member retention and like making the community run better. The negative is we've kind of grown faster than the member involvement in the departments has been, which has led to like we got rid of the department cap for the time being, and like we have a lot of people that are in like 3-4 departments. I think kind of one of our goals over the next year or so is to like get more people involved in the departments to allow people to kind of specialize and focus where they need to focus. Not like, like jobs assigned, but like, I don't know, I think we have situations where people join departments because they feel the department has a need. And I don't think, it'd be great to get to a point where in an ideal world, people are joining departments because that's what they want to do, not because they feel obligated to make something survive or exist or do whatever. So, really, new departments over the next couple months, year or two? Probably not. But hopefully we can get a more diverse group into those departments, get more people involved in departments, and see some of these departments grow and split and be able to survive and not have people like, Gambit and Kitty are good examples. They do so much good work, they somehow don't get stressed from it. But if I was in as many departments in clan ops as they have been, I would be losing my mind like every other day. And they do wonderful stuff, but I think that, it'd be great to have help for them so they don't have to feel like they have to be involved in so much to help things move forward. Even though they do a great job, I don't know. That was not a slight to them at all. I feel like
she
it
gets her
might come
stress
off
out
as
when she
such,
bullies
but-
me every day. It's fine. I just
Yeah, Gambit just bullies like Kitty nonstop, and I don't know how we still
I
hold
hear
on.
it's therapeutic to both of them.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Someone
Anyways, I guess
playing
we're
with
gonna cover the
bells that I hear in the background.
Yeah.
Or a child,
Annoying.
one of the two.
Just to add on one more thing, if you see something that's not being covered in a current department, or that you feel we should expand into, feel free to throw that up into the suggestion area. Message MP, message Fuzzy, myself, anyone. Really.
Scotland.
Or Scotland. That's who I was trying to remember. Who just said I couldn't remember the department head manager.
I know he's easily forgettable.
Oh,
The shade has been lobbed.
shout out to Bad Kitty for subscribing with a tier 1 sub for 6 months in a row, and shout out to Kamikaze for gifting a sub to Nebby. I think that's gotten us to 51 subs. We now are above 50 for the first time ever.
That's so precious.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so adorable.
So now the race to 100 is on you guys. Get to work. But no, seriously, thank you for everybody who's contributed. It's no small feat to be able to, I don't know. I think it means a lot to
large
us.
feet
Like,
around here.
it means a lot to us on the board. Like, of course, your donations always go to prize pools and things like that. But it means so much that we have a thing here that you guys feel comfortable contributing and helping move us forward in a financial sense. Even if it's just $5 a month, that's not always the easiest. It's not always the easiest to ask for. But because of contributions like that, it helps us run more events, it helps us give out more prizes, and it helps us run the things we need to run to give you guys the experience that you want. So just everybody who's donated, given bits, subscribe to KSI Live, thank you so much. And just to anyone else out there who hasn't, just thank you for being a part of it, because you guys, everyone here, creates that environment that, allow people and make people want to contribute to what we have going on. So thank you.
That's
Oh,
beautiful.
shit. Gotta tear up. That's a sound bet right there.
Oh, I've turned face. Finally.
Just a trick.
We're a wrestling community now.
I've noticed a shortage of clan ops notes recently during gens and leaders meetings. Is there any reason why, or are things just running super smooth? I'm gonna go with super smooth, but others might want to interject.
I mean, I may be able to have some insight on that. I help make the notes in some capacity, but yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say super smooth because there's always improvements that can be made. But yeah, I think the reason it seems like there are less notes is because we cut out a lot of the fat, the notes that I don't know how long this person's been in, but there used to be some notes that would get repeated on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and I don't know, you probably only need, you probably don't need to go over gens checking access denied, it doesn't need to be a weekly note.
We also cut out
say-
4 hours of wrestling. That does help notes.
Oh my god.
No,
There we go.
it has nothing to do with it.
Becky is
It has
fake.
nothing to do with it.
As you try to always talk PUBG and other rubbish in our meetings.
Oh.
We don't talk PUBG
Fight,
in
fight,
meetings. We
fight.
play PUBG.
We
but, yeah.
Oh. There was definitely 4 or 5 years of Clash of Clan talk going on forever.
That was terrible.
And Rage of Bahamut. And let us. And
Oh,
watch
yeah,
Walking
okay.
Dead.
At least
Let
though
us not
we were
forget.
actually playing those games while we were doing that, not talking about stupid fake half-naked men fake wrestling with each other.
Though also,
Oh,
this is a lot of like
reminiscing.
history coming out because this question was not about board meetings at
And
all.
they'll start at the next
What?
split of KSI.
Yeah, no.
God damn.
They're showing you why things don't get done on a board level. But this is a clan up specific.
Hey!
Hold on.
I'm
I want to defend
Hold on.
shit out there. How long have you been fucking football? Guess who doesn't real sports at all? This guy. Years they had to listen to him.
Just
Give a
kidding.
fuck if a guy making $1 million didn't catch a ball. You guys are
See,
the
I
worst.
told you, the spitefulness of the board shows.
It's horrible. We could probably move on.
yeah.
Make it running smoothly. That's the answer.
Yeah. Just censor Rita. Rita's being censored. We've never officially censored anybody. Rita is censored.
Why am I censored?
I don't think Rita's audio is included.
Because you're the
so
youngest.
Doesn't matter.
Sport.
No, my audio is definitely included.
Not in
just
post-production,
muted you.
which we definitely have. But we don't. But we definitely
Oh my
do.
gosh.
We do, it's fine.
We're gonna magically lose like 15
I cannot be
seconds of this
silenced.
thing.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so... alright, so I just answered this one. It's an easy one. Did KSI ever have any girl squads? Yes, we've tried. It's been a long time, but
We've
tried
had
that
whole
many
girl
times.
divisions.
Yeah, whole
Yeah, that girl
female
division
divisions.
was interesting.
We had a couple
I bet
throughout
that
the
was a lot
years.
of drama.
There was definitely some drama, and usually the last
It
division got
depends
closed
on.
because it like
It depends. Sometimes
had like
they have been. Sometimes
23
they've been
people
fine.
for like 2 years, so or not 2 years, but like for a long run, it had like less than 30 people. So it got to the point where it was like, that's cool that that's the female area. They want to have their own area, but it also removes the entire aspect of this community. Like you join this community to play with a bunch of people, not just only be involved with 20 people. And like nowadays, we're not going to segregate people. Like, just, I don't know, it wouldn't work. We would never make a division that was like 20 or 30 people just because of their gender. Plus, they'd probably lose the Div Cup.
You never know.
Or they could make a whole bunch of points. I guess the other one. I'll do the next one too. I guess anyone actually, regular parent can jump into. Has KSI ever been partnered with other communities? We've had an on and off relationship with different communities throughout the years. We haven't had a partnership or anything like that with the community since 2012, and we're probably never going to again. But we did work with MEA for like 9 months back then, which basically was just like non-aggression pacts. And we never really had that many issues with them. After that, we worked with PMS and H2O way back in the day, which was like one clan but two clans. One PMS was all female, H2O was all male. But like throughout the years, we've had different interactions with other communities. We're friendly with plenty of them, but
I would say our most fruitful partnership would have been with Vets and Boots back around 2010 to 2011. That partnership brought about Friday Night Fights, which eventually evolved into TNE.
yeah, it was basically the start of weekly events.
And through that partnership, we back then Friday Night Fights was like obviously it was weekly multi-community tournaments. It was KSI, TSB, Evil, LHR, a couple other communities that we just showed up and just had fun and did weekly tournaments. Outside of course being the type A douchebag personality that showed up, but other than that, it was pretty fun. Eventually, I'd like to one day get TNE back to that, but this current gaming climate is there's some toxic people. But one day we'll probably get back there one day.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Every week there's really never any hostility. There was like never any booting, never anything like crazy going on, just people playing.
The leader of Vets and Boots was a KSI board member at the time, and I was also a member of Vets and Boots at the time. It was a firefighter, military, EMS,
all
police,
military,
like that type of
paramilitary.
community.
They're all good people. Then we ended up basically running their events for a while, and then kind of just not took over, but started doing our own thing. But yeah, no, we've definitely had partnerships with other communities that have definitely worked out. Which
Oh,
kind
and
of stay clear now, but
random
it's
trivia.
what-
Evil was partnered
Yo.
with Vets and Booth at the time, which is how technically, through the loophole of loopholes, I have this evil tag, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
yeah.
Oh, trivia's fun.
What else? When you become a officer, did you have remember the code of conduct, or sis you have to look it up?
I was gonna correct the A to
Are
an
you
A
okay?
until you read the rest of it.
Yeah, I read it as it's written. I don't know if you're asking if you should memorize it, or if we've memorized it. I will assure you I don't have it memorized now, nor will I ever. If I can look it up, I'm not going to memorize it. I always simplified it to don't be a douchebag, and you can only be in this community.
I kept
That's
the
what I
KSI.
know. I memorized
Also
it.
did.
I had a KSI handbook that I made myself that now has been made for everybody. That I just cheat sheeted it. To this day I could not tell you what number anything is, except for number 10
No,
the
besides
catch-all.
10? Yeah.
I only know 10 and 4.
Rita knows the age when
What's
it's
four?
super applicative to the past 4 years.
Never leave a case I member behind.
But
That's the one I always forget because it's the dumb one that everyone always misconstrues into like
Yeah, until
weird
like
situations.
their favor. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, they make a very big
party
deal
where
out
you're
of that one.
discussing business. You're leaving me behind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the weird one. Yeah, no, a cheat sheet's good enough. The important thing is that you understand the meaning of the code of conduct and that you abide by it, or abide by it. Abide it. Whatever the words
So
are, and just and if you have to train or anything, I mean, it's probably a good idea for you to keep a little handy dandy notebook next to you, or now that we're living in like 2018, bookmark that crap on your browser and have a quick link to it if you want to do that. Just something that you have it around with you.
Yeah.
It's like a little
I have
scout.
That's what Trinity does. Shave all your back hair and tattoo it on your spine.
Wow.
I just have my mom.
Look in the
I
mirror.
just have my
Gotta
mom
have
give it
to
to me
read
every
the
night
alphabet.
before bed.
Yeah.
I still love
Get
it.
it
Or
tattooed all
do you have your
backwards so you can
stepdad
put
do
the
it,
mirror
or
up.
is it?
I don't
It's
have
actually
to
your
say
mom
that.
doing
Thank
it.
you, please.
And folks, that's how you know that you've been in senior leadership for a while. Because I definitely did have the COC memorized at one point, and then
Oh,
Well,
so
could
the
you
cat came out of the
Google
bag.
Starbucks?
I just got back after ordering food.
Through-
I realized that none of
through-
us know our COC anymore, like off the top
Well,
of our
that
head.
is
And
true.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know
I
what you
slap
mean.
these people
Yeah.
all the time, and I don't know it off the top of my head. But I can
When
go
I was in
find
the
it
I
squad,
in
read
10
it to people
seconds.
while I was
Yeah.
recruiting.
And I had my
That's-
I had a
go ahead,
handbook next to
Impy.
me. It gets to the point where you can just remember it all. You can memorize the whole damn thing whenever you're doing it every day. For
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
only
you
if you're a
could,
good leader
easily.
and you read it to people. Some people like me never read that. I am
Yeah.
a horrible example of most
I
of
also,
KSI.
I am glad to know that before I even knew Fuzzy or anyone in this party, I also said when I was reading it off to people, back in like a long time ago, I just basically said, "Don't be another clan, don't be a douchebag," and you'll be good to go. Exactly word for word, I said.
Yeah.
Glad we were
Use your
close
chain of command.
in spirit.
Yeah, I mean,
Back
most
in
of
that
us.
day, we
I
didn't
mean,
care about that.
right. Most of us in the party, you kind of get to a point where you can kind of just judge things. Like you know it's against something. You know which rule it is. You just don't know what number it is or how it's exactly worded, but you know it's against something. Like
I
this
only
gets
look
that
up rules so
point.
I know what rules I can break. All right,
There
so
you
we have
go.
like 8 minutes left and a couple questions, so let's rapid fire a few.
Yay!
If you could bring back one event from KSI's past that we're not doing currently, what would it be? Someone mentioned doing KSI Trivia Night again during Spirit Week. I would kind of love that. We did that once. It worked out well, besides people cheating. But that'd be like one thing I
Can
could do in the past. that
can we
did.
expand that to Xbox games also? Because I would love 1 versus 100 back.
Ooh! I don't know if we can
Yeah,
actually
it's
bring that
fun.
one back because I think we're kind of confined by what it offers. But that was fun. That period was really fun. I love 1 versus 100. It was so good.
I never won. I mean, I
Oh,
never
I
won
won
like
a time
that
or two.
whole thing, but I did win money.
Okay,
from that
rapid
event.
fire.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, all these are very long-winded.
Well, the question could be
Oh,
long-winded, but the answer.
what's
could
the
be easy.
purpose? No, it's not. What's the purpose of a divisional lock? Well, I'm reading the question. I know what it is. What's the purpose of a divisional lockdown, and how does it differ from a community-wide lockdown? Community-wide
Once the
lockdowns
business-
are literally terrible, and we should never do
Yeah.
them ever. Divisional lockdown might be good for a temporary.
It's just a fixed
Cool.
drama within each division. If there's like a whole thing like a mass community drama, then we'll limit it to just having a lockdown for a division, and it's terrible. And Fuzzy's always
Right.
hated it since like ever.
And
Always.
Like,
fun fact about the div lockdown is that just kind of started off as something people did. It wasn't really anywhere. But I think it's worked out a lot better because it's really hard to, like, most of the time there's a security issue. We're not getting hit on all ends, so the div lockdown is much easier. Plus, we also are focusing in on those divisions or that division rather than the community.
And in reality, there's very little difference. It's still the same procedure, whether it's just your single division on
Yeah, just
lockdown
scope.
or it's
Yeah.
the entire community on lockdown. Doesn't matter.
What else do we have here? How do you think the implementation of the divisional couple affect KSI moving forward?
Oh, let's get someone from
Positively.
Let's grab. I grab someone for that question.
We'll move right in. Alright, so I'll move on to the next one. Who's taking over Fuzzy when he retires? Right now it's penciled in.
no one. We're bringing it down.
Actually, can I read the whole thing? Because it makes me super upset. Shadow Fox wrote it. And is this still happening in 2019? Like, I feel like she's insinuating that it's not happening. She's going to be very upset, which makes me very upset. However, I plan on retiring in 2019. And if I was a gambling man, I would say probably like Rick and Impy would be moving up and kind of taking over things. I have said this quite a few times before in different places. However, it's always subject to change because them two could become complete and total monsters. They just been lying dormant since.
I mean, I have been. This is nothing
I was
new.
gonna say MP's that's there, isn't he?
Reg's gonna turn back on the Red Skull and come after us and take over.
What are we doing
You
today?
taking his
Same
job.
thing every day. Try and take
It's
over the
falling apart.
world.
And this one, because it only fills my ego. Whose idea was it to initially start the AAP, and how is it implemented throughout KSI? It was like me and Manual Mist and the Department of the Interior, and other people as well, but we really got the Office of Achievements and Awards going, which turned into the Awards and Achievements program. And how is it implemented? Literally everyone in the community told us that we didn't need fake awards for everybody, and not everyone needs a trophy, and we're all snowflakes, new age like people. And I had to literally beg divisions to even participate in Member of the Month. And eventually we won people over. And now it's a huge staple of the community. But like, literally people just made fun of us because we were just catering to like soft people.
That
And it
old
was
school
deeply
mentality.
insulting. Yeah, and then Regs and other admins helped out with finding the actual awards on the forums and doing that. So that's a huge implementation. If we,
Trophies, and I hate them.
if we didn't have awards on the forums, it would have lasted. It would never been as big. But anyways, that wraps up the Spirit Week. Oh my God! Nope, not the Spirit
wow.
Week.
I quit.
You feel alright?
Wow.
Whatever
If
it
only
is.
Fuzzy. If only Fuzzy.
Oh, you already answered
It
the
was
question.
that easy. Yep, we're wrapped up.
Kitty was coming
Wrap
in
it
here
up.
to talk about Division Cup. I thought. I guess you already answered it.
I was.
Answered
I
it.
was.
Yes.
No, whatever. It's a question.
I guess
Kind of
Rita
insane.
can talk now.
Oh, by the way, Kitty Gambit's been lying on you in here and talking about you bully him and stuff.
I don't know. I follow him on a daily
People
basis.
could also
It's
watch
not my fault that he's
the,
a beta.
Wow.
Like,
Bully, you
Power
were trying to
Down
help him.
episode.
Trying to build him up.
I love you.
We could always pitch though for Div Cup stuff. The Power Down episode where I talked to Scars and Guy would be Good place
Yeah,
too to
let's finish
start.
that today. It was a
You're
very
just trying to put
informative
yourself out
thing.
there, bud.
No, it was actually really good. And,
I think
Yeah.
Rita has an
Yeah,
announcement.
I do have an announcement. Thank you.
Search for them vapes.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So. Well, do I have 2 announcements, or do we both each have 1 announcement?
You have one.
You just have one.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
I didn't.
It's your
know we were
first
doing
time.
this. I know.
Being greedy.
Terrible. So, yeah, I would like everyone.
Is someone talking and I just
to,
cannot hear them? Like, what is
Yeah.
that?
Wait,
How?
what? Is Josh gonna play the division?
I
Use
hope
your
you can hear me.
outside voice, Veritas.
Yeah, Kitty. Someone. Oh my God.
Eddie, can you hear
Really?
Veritas?
I cannot hear him at all. Is he talking?
I 100% am. Tell her to unmute me.
Jess, you're blocked.
How do you
know.
get
Blocked.
Just
Oh my
leaving from there.
god.
What an a-hole.
Starting a trend. Let's follow.
I mean, Cody ends up blocking like 6 people a day that he doesn't even touch, but
He
you
really
know.
does.
Oh, Gambit had me blocked for a while. Yeah.
I did not
yeah,
have you
they-
blocked. Stop being so needy.
Apparently, I said something to him and I called him a beta or something, and he was very upset and blocked me for a while.
I'm gonna block you again.
Can you really not hear Rita?
No, I seriously cannot hear Rita.
Try backing out and rejoining.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have that time.
Just punch Fuzzy in the throat. Since he's the host.
All right,
Probably
well,
'cause-
guys, go for it.
Yeah, I just got a wireless router. Fuck off. Sorry.
Oh.
Now we're on stream.
Oh.
Good job, Fuzzy.
Alright, well, since you can't hear Rita, I guess I can announce that you weren't here for the Div Cup, obviously. You're here because the seniors are promoting you to director. It was Rita and the
Woo, woo.
congratulations. After
Hey,
giving you
back.
div assignments.
Yeah, you'll have to unmute me first. But yeah, get with me after
She
the
does
party.
deserve it. I'm quitting. I can't do it. Nope.
Yeah.
Quitting. Don't deserve it.
You will have to
Do
unmute
it.
Rita in order to move forward, but congratulations.
Yes. Congratulations.
Huh. Well, thank you. That's
Everybody
amazing.
dance
I'm so
now.
excited.
Favoritism.
But seriously,
Favoritism.
I don't have you muted.
Yeah.
You're not starting off very well.
Oh, you're talking now! Yay! I can hear him.
But-
How's
oh,
that?
Oh,
yeah.
now you are.
Now I'm talking. Now that Greg's done it from, wow.
That sound.
Oh my god.
Just
Oh,
take it.
wow.
Just take it
I'm
back.
looking
Just take it.
forward
Just take it back, Rita. Just take a promotion. Nope, you're back to the
Oh boy. Well, yay. Yay.
Since we now have like 25 directors, I think, or something like that. I can't count. But we're kind of heavy on directors. Ronin will be our new senior. He'll be moving up to the senior director role. Congratulations. I know I'm kind of making this quick.
Nope,
And
not quitting again.
sorry if I'm not making it.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Do I get a promotion?
Congratulations, Ronin. No,
Where's
you
my
lost
promotion?
your.
It's not about me.
Who are we blacklisting? Sorry,
I didn't
I'm back.
lose my job.
I'll-
It was
I'll-
stolen.
You
Me and
didn't
Greg will
fight
also get
for
with
it,
you,
though,
Ronan.
so I mean.
I did not fight for it.
So congratulations, Ronin, on your promotion.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good
man.
shit, man. I've been looking forward to this party all day, and I almost slept through
Now we
it.
get to bully him.
I
and-
can't wait for you to get revenge for me, Ronan, and usurp me like he usurped me.
What? Hold on.
I said I can't
I think I'm
wait
about to
for
lag
you
off this
to
party.
usurp
Impy?
me like he usurped me.
Oh my god.
Um,
Oh, I
Get
sent
ready to be
Kitty a
super
card.
disappointed in board
I sent
meetings.
Kitty the card. Oh, and I sent it to Ronan too.
That
Let's get into wrestling.
Kitty,
Oh,
please tell
no.
him you hate that
Yeah,
card.
we probably should
Please
get into
tell him so
wrestling.
he will stop.
I actually think it's an amazing.
Okay, see now, all right, Nicky, you are correct. Everyone loves a card. I apologize.
Yep.
It is the most. I
oh, Ronan, did
You
get
couldn't
your
even
card?
insert a rank? Hold up. Wait up. Hold up. Y'all just sent me some vanilla.
that was
I'm feeling really
that was
loved
too
right
high budget
now,
for
honestly.
these cards. Yeah.
It looks like it has a third fold option. What's in the
They're
middle?
kind of cookie
Because I
cutter
know-
cards. We just send them to everybody. We also send them to
Does it
people who
sing?
are part of our Celebrity Hall of Fame. But that's actually macaroni art cards that I handed you.
So hold up. So me and Kitty just made Celebrity Hall of Fame? Hold up. That's not
No,
just the best
no,
thing.
you guys don't get the
no,
macaroni
sorry.
art. No, you guys are wrong
Don't
for
get ahead
that.
of yourself.
I'm- yeah, don't. Hold
Calm
up.
down. Calm down.
This is
I
why
saw the
Rita's been
underlying message,
censored.
Rita. I get you. Wink, wink. But no, it's pretty dope.
So, just because I know Nebula, oh my gosh, I wanted to say Neptune for a minute. Nebula has to go to the Headhunters game.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows we're going to be expanding and growing in the senior leadership later on down the road. So we are definitely looking at more people to be moving up into those roles. So div
There'll
leaders
be a lot
keep
of
growing.
changes coming up.
Div leaders keep growing your divisions, keep building on that. We're really hoping to have 2 splits this
What an
year.
exciting
We have,
world.
we have 2 divisions that are very close to getting to that, to being able to make it there. DM, I'm hoping you guys will finally split. I hope that you guys, the next leader will be able to take it where I couldn't take it, and where Gambit, Kitty, and all of us couldn't
To
take
the
it. but
danger
you guys will
zone.
take it to the next 2 div split.
God damn!
And yes,
Gambit and
it's
Kitty
very
under the
close.
bus. Like what the fuck, Steve?
Hey, I
Yeah,
threw myself under the bus.
Kitty out.
They clearly weren't good enough to do it, so I hope the next one does. Goddamn.
I threw myself under the bus. I couldn't do it either. I couldn't get him to a split.
Hey, at least he
I
holds
couldn't
your
list
hand
all
while y'all
of the
jump in
division.
front of it.
Greg's
I
that
couldn't-
coach
I
that has that
couldn't-
running back in there that takes him all the way down to the 1 yard line and pulls him out for the short yardage back just to like vulture a touchdown.
Oh, and
Yep.
I mean, it definitely.
okay if-
we really want to see the divisions grow, and you guys are all doing awesome, and that's why there's not been many div notes and anything.
Circle it back.
Also, Greg, can I go ahead and just announce the new director assignments on stream?
Oh, we're gonna answer that here.
I mean, or we cannot. I mean, that's
just
up to you.
Yeah,
Hold
just
on.
put that on. Yeah, just because Nebula's got to
It's a
get
super
going.
secret.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
realize.
thank you, Nebula. I really appreciate you coming in there and helping out, though, my friend.
Thank
I
you.
love you,
I
Ned.
also
made
could
it
ask
like
you
5 minutes
questions.
late.
I don't know why I didn't.
You're,
Yeah, Nebula,
you're-
just
you're-
for you. Next
May
month,
have-
you answer all the questions.
Kick ass.
Oh God! Don't take that.
No,
Nebby.
I
Don't
pushed
do
the
it.
I accept.
button,
I
right? I
accept.
pushed the button, so I see. I pushed it.
I love you,
Start
Nebby.
setting up the match.
You're the last
Jesus.
of my.
Start setting
Wow.
up what you need for the custom match.
Oh.
Before
We gotta go.
we close out the stream, because we're about to leave, I just want to say that this is most definitely the best town hall
Oh,
we
there you
had
are.
this month.
Okay.
I think this has just been amazing.
Yeah,
It has
must
been
have
the
been a
best
really
town hall
this
this
was great.
month.
Yeah.
Yes, the best.
Yeah.
This is definitely the best one since the last one we did, and it's probably gonna
Yeah.
be the best one until the next one that we do. But
Well, you gotta
I guess
build
yeah.
up yourself.
then we can go ahead and close this one down. I think it's been a wonderful evening. We'll remember for at least a couple days. And
At least.
Remember what?
exactly. But I mean, this panel has been amazing. The questions were amazing. The community's involvement's been amazing. It's been a good day. So
Why are you happy?
I'm not.
You're scaring me. You're becoming a Dan right now. I've become accustomed to one thing, and now I'm
Wow.
getting another.
Oh,
Let's never say if
well,
he's as sad as
just to-
Dan.
and just to
No,
even this
he's
out
never
once
as
again,
sad.
shall I remind you that you were most definitely censored? So
Is Dan ever actually sad though? I don't feel like Dan's ever actually sad.
So that's what's
there's no
scary,
way to
because
know.
it's just normal.
Well, we need to find a place to cut this thing off. Holy crap!
Now, bye.
Yes, bye. Cut it off now. La 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 la. Rolling credits here. Thank you to Dick Wolf, executive producer. Blah 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 blah.
Wait, is this Law and Order?
It is.
Law and Order?
I've never heard the Law and Order theme like that.
Why is
Law
this
and
still
Order?
going?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Nebby, do the thing.
Do the
Do this.
Out of the goddamn
Push the
party.
button. Like,
You're the Scooby Doo ending.
what are
Pineapple.
you doing, Nebby?
I was.
Fade to
Fuzzy, you
black.
can also do the thing.
Maybe
I'm
you're fired.
fading.